So today I'm back in the field. It's still another windy day, but I'm going to be testing out some suggested fixes that I actually got from you all in the community. And we're going to see if this helps the zoom issue. Now, if this all sounds foreign to you, I'll have a video linked down below that I launched yesterday that goes over a couple issues I found with the Insta360 Luna Ultra. Now, another thing, if you've seen that video, well, I was using the onboard mics and it was a pretty windy day. It's not as windy today, but I'm doing something a little different so you can hear the difference between the audio in using the mic air. Now, I thought and assumed in using all automatic settings that we wouldn't have the ability to lock in the white balance. I had assumed that would only be in manual. However, I was able to find that setting and you can lock the white balance. So it's kind of cloudy. I locked it into 5,000 Kelvin. And we're going to do some testing here to see if that helps with the zoom jitters. Secondly, someone mentioned that I may want to turn on focus breathing compensation. Now, I did have that on yesterday, so it didn't really make that much of a difference whether that's on or off. I had another creator, and I've talked to quite a few creators that have mentioned that it's really bad in log. So I'm going to test out log as well, and we're going to see if one is better than the other or worse than the other. And we're definitely going to see if locking the white balance, which I kind of have the most hope for, fixes this issue. So we'll do a couple different tests out here in the field. Then we'll go into the studio and take a look at the footage to see if locking that white balance and iLog, if there's any differences that might be a potential fix here.
First one we're going to take a look at, and all these are going to be in 4K 30 frames per second, full automatic settings. Now this is where it gets a little bit different. These are going to be a normal color profile. They're going to have all the white balance is going to be locked at 5,000 Kelvin. But sometimes we're going to change some things, like this one does not have on breathing compensation. So we are moving now from 1x to 2x here shortly. I want you to pay attention to this kind of like re-rendering that happens. So once we start moving, we should see that right there. So I will go back a little bit, and this is kind of what you're looking for, is that re-render. So let's go back. And now we're going to move into the 2x here, and you'll see it right there. Now going from 2x to 3x, it's not as bad, but it certainly is there. So from 2x to 3x, a little bit of re-rendering gets a little bit lighter. Now when we go to 3 to 6, that's when I really start to see it. So from 3 to 6, it kind of re-renders and gets light. Then we see a digital zoom. Now I'm going to go back and forth a couple different times here and see if you can pick out some of those little glitches or those re-renderings, or a little maybe slight shift in the white balance. So I'm going to pull all the way out, and you just saw it right there really hard. It kind of hits real hard sometimes between the 6 and the 3, and then it pulls all the way back to 1. Still looks great, not judging on the quality here. It's just pretty noticeable. So there you saw that little re-render. Now we're into 6 and we're into the 12 digital zoom, and you'll see it right there as well. Kind of like that. I don't know, digital processing. I don't know what it is, but you saw it there. You'll see it right there. And then we pull it out. So now we're going to look at the same details locked in 5,000 Kelvin with the compensation on. So the breathing compensation is on. We'll see if we notice any differences here. Again, we're looking at the standard 1x view. We'll move in here shortly to the 2x. And you'll see if you notice anything. I saw a little bit of that little glitch, then 3x, another little one. Now we're going to 6x, that's kind of the major one. And then 6 into the digital zoom. Again, you're not going to see much. I will pull back out a couple times here so you can see it as well. Back to 6, and then back to 3, then 2, and then 1. And there goes 1. So a little bit of glitches when you pull back. I'll do a smooth zoom here. You will see it hit pretty hard right there. And then one last repass right here, and you'll see it there. Kind of gets a little bit lighter. If I pull it back, same kind of story here with this one. So pretty interesting to see what's going on. Now we're going to look at the log profile. Again, this is not in the normal color profile. This is in the iLog. Again, both of these are going to be white balance locked in 5,000 Kelvin. This time the compensation breathing is off. Just went to 2x. It's very hard to see it. I'm going to go to 3x. You might have seen it there, a little bit of a jitter, and then up to 6x, and then we'll do the digital zoom. But certainly it's a little bit harder to see in iLog. I'll go through my zoom repetitions here so you can see it as well. But in the end, I'll throw a quick color grade on this, and it really starts to become a little bit more pronounced. But the difference here is the breathing compensation is off. You saw a little shift there, and then you'll probably see it here in a minute. Yep, just a little bit. So pulling all the way back, there'll be a little stutter there, and then another little color shift there, and then you're back to the 1x. Now I threw on a color grade. It should be a little bit more apparent. All right, so now we move forward. See that re-render there. Then we're moving into 6 and then into 12. So maybe it looks a little bit better in terms of it being compared. Well, that was a major one right there. Let's go back there and take a look at that. So when we step back here, you'll see from here and then one more right there. From there to there, you can definitely notice some type of color change there. Zoom in, it'll hit hard right there, and then probably one last time here at the end right there. So very interesting. That's with the breathing composition off. Now we're going to take a look at same kind of deal, eye log in terms of the color profile. We zoomed in once here, white balance 5K, breathing composition is on this time. So we just moved in. You can't really notice too much of a shift. We're not going into the 12x. And then if we pull back here, we'll go back to 6, and then we'll go to 3. We'll see if there's a shift. Not really. This one's kind of major. There you go. 3 to 2, back to 1. So when I'm looking through this, it seems like that is the problem step, 2 to 3. So now I put a color grade on it. Let's see if that holds true. So this would be 1x to 2x to 3x, kind of shifted there to 6 to 12. So I think I am right. It looks between, the 2x and the 3x is when we're getting that shift, and maybe that's when it moves over to the other lens. I don't know. They are different f-stops or apertures rather, f1.8 and 2.0. So interesting how it does that. So it definitely looks like, to me at least in this clip, it is going from the step 2 to 3. So I think it's pretty clear something's going on. It does look like, from my very unscientific testing and just doing it one time, one scene, that eye log with focus breathing on seems to be the best if you're willing to color grade. And again, I didn't test a whole bunch of color grades on it, just did a pretty basic one that I had. So you may want to go out and download the official Insta360 LUT that they have. Someone mentioned to me that they might have 2 different LUTs, so I don't know if that's designed to do 2 different cameras. But Insta360, if you're out there, we'd love to hear from you in terms of maybe what your thoughts are about this, or anything that we can do to make it look better. Listen guys, I still say this is a phenomenal camera. You can work around these things, and I do think they'll sort it out in terms of the firmware. These is early days, very, very early days. I'm very, very positive on this camera. In fact, I think if you can afford it, you should probably get it. And I'll leave it at that. But I will be doing a full review. Well, I'll be testing a whole much more stuff. I might have some other videos like this as I find some more things. I had another commenter kind of chime into and gave me a little tidbit of information that I thought was pretty smart and intelligent, but you're going to have to wait till next time, because that's probably going to be the next test, and it could be the reason why we're seeing this, and it's not even really a bad reason. So if you're interested, please like and subscribe. My name's HillPhantom, and I'll see you next time.